Hey there, hope you're doing well. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about the Oneida Open, kind of what I figured out, how I was catching them, the whole setup and everything. To get started, I finished in 8th place out of 225 anglers there. This is a lake, it's always been really good to me. I won there in 2019, I've won a couple BFLs there, had a couple other top 5 finishes. It's really been a special place. So this week was a little different. I had a tougher practice than I normally do up there, and it took me a while to put it together, and it wasn't honestly until the first day, about 3/4 of the way through the day, I started to kind of put that puzzle together and figure out exactly what was going on. And basically what it was the next 3 days, I was using my Lowrance active target. I was out in that 10 to 14 foot range. And I was just looking at those fish, and I was taking a Z-Man drop shot here. This is the Z-Man trick shot. You can see it was Gobi Bryant was my go-to color. You can see there, it's just a really good mimic. It's got that light bottom, kind of a green pumpkin-y top, a little bit of copper in there, a little bit of purple and black. I had that on a number 2 Hayabusa. It's a DSR 132 HD. The HD is key because it's a little bit thicker. Those smallies are growing in Oneida. If you haven't been there recently, you catch less of them. I was only getting 7 or 8 bites a day, but they're big. They're all 3 to 4 or something now. It's each day I was catching a couple 4-pounders, which didn't used to ever happen up there. You see leader length, I got about a foot there. I was using an Angler Tungsten drop shot weight. I like this cylindrical version they have of it. Right here, you can see it's got that 1/4 ounce pumped, stamped right on it, so you know exactly what you got. And it just came through the grass better. So I was targeting offshore grass in, like I said, 10 to 14 foot. It was basically just sand flats. You were out there, you'd see a patch of either cabbage, some of this other stringy stuff, and you'd flip your drop shot out there on my active target. I'd see them usually out at like 80 feet. And if I could hit them at like 60, I could catch a lot of them. But there's unlimited practice for this open, so there was guys up there for weeks, and they got used to the pressure, so you were throwing out a lot of fish that would go down on it, look at it, and then they just swim away. And it seemed like the morning, this was the deal. You take your trick shot like this, and you'd put it in front of them, and you'd actually catch quite a few of them. And then when it got tougher in the afternoon, I have to switch over to that Bill Lewis MR12, which we'll talk about. But rod-wise, this was a this was a favorite jackhammer, Z-Man trick shot. It's a 721, it's a medium heavy. This is the best all-around drop shot I've ever used. This rod it's awesome. It loads up perfect. I don't know if you can see that. It might not be in the angle perfect, but it just has a lot of parabolic bend to it, but it's also got enough backbone that when I hook one of those really big smallmouth, that's a 4-pounder, I have control of it. It doesn't have control of me. So that's why I like this jackhammer. I'm using a favorite reel. It's a 2500. It's the Rush. The Rush and the jackhammer reel are the 2 spinning reels I use most often, but both in the 2500. I like to pick up a lot of line quick. It's got a super smooth drag, you can hear, which is key when you're fighting those big ones. I hook them. I keep my drag pretty tight, and then I'll loosen it up. Once I got him hooked, I just kind of let him play himself out. I get tired, because then this one, I don't get to use a net. I got to belly land them, get my finger in their lip, whatever, to put them in the boat. Line-wise, Seaguar Flash Green, 15 pound. It's smackdown. It's the best braid I have out there. I'm going to a 8-pound Seaguar gold label leader. It's super invisible, strong fish, really. Just can't see it, so you can see a lot of bites. And like I said, it's a 1/4 ounce Angler Tungsten weight, and that's my drop shot setup. How I was picking those fish off of my Lowrance active target, just looking at them. And then once later in the day, where those fish got really pressured, they start to get a little bit finicky. So that's when I would employ this Bill Lewis MR12. This is a color I helped actually come up with last year with them. It's a yellow perch, and if you look at it, it's pretty much dead nuts on. It's got a lot of the yellow in it. It's got those black bars. It's got from here you can see, it's got a little bit of that white on their chest that they have, and there's a little bit of orange on there. It's not overpowering, but it's super effective. You see it's got that clearish color to it too, so it's really got those fish dialed in. And what I could do is, this is a 12-foot diver. I was throwing on a favorite rod, It's a 741 medium heavy. It's the Phantom cranking. This is actually the rod I use to throw my chatterbait, but since it's a glass rod, again, you can see it's really parabolic. It helps me hook those fish and keep them hooked. You got trebles on here, so when they don't get that bait right or if they swat at it, you don't always have them hooked the greatest. So having that parabolic bend is a big key. We were talking about 10 to 14 feet. This guy goes 12, so it's the MR12 by Bill Lewis. There, I'm throwing it out there, reeling as fast as I could. This is a 7.3 to 1 favorite Soleus XCS. I like that higher speed gear ratios because I was just trying to generate a reaction strike at this point. The fish were getting used to the drop shot. They had a bunch of boats out there on them, and I would just throw it out there and just crank as fast as I could and to generate those reaction strikes out of them. And it worked really well. This I was throwing on 12-pound Seaguar Tatsu line. It's nice and thin, super strong. Helped get that little bit extra depth out of it. If I needed it even deeper, I would have gone to 10, but that 12 foot, I didn't want it actually digging in the bottom like a lot of times you do. So in that 12 to 14 foot range, it was like kind of right in their face. And those fish were using those clumps of grass to kind of stage on and just sit there. But that's the whole setup there. Some other keys from the tournament. Let's see, that was really using just two baits. I would use this guy, this one. I would every once in a while throw in a green pumpkin one. I throw a Ned rig a little bit, just at the same thing, pitching it right at those fish. Practice, I use an Aqua View. I have it over there, but we'll talk more about that coming up here soon. It really helps you dial in those fish. You drop it down there. Sometimes there's a lot of walleye out there mixed in, so you have to use the Aqua View to kind of distinguish what's what in practice. That way you make sure you're on a school smallies, not walleye. And if you want to try any of this stuff, all in the description below, I'll have all sorts of discount codes for you to save you some money on your favorite rods. It's GB20, save you 20%. Aqua View is $1.2022, I believe. And that saves you, I think, 10%. So a little bit of savings everywhere. If you have any questions, you put them in the comments below. And if do me a huge favor, please subscribe.